שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני.
Rabbi Mordechai Yosef of Uzbeka underscores the lesson for our lives and brings the essence of our coming together this Shabbos morning to light. In the building of the tabernacle, all Israel was joined in heart. No one felt superior to his fellow. At first, each skilled individual did his own part, and it seemed to him that his work was extraordinary, unique. But afterwards, they saw how their varying contributions were integrated, how all the boards and sockets, the loops and the curtains, the gold and the crimson, all fit together as if one person had done it all. Then they realized how each of them had depended upon the other, and they understood that what they had accomplished was not by virtue of their own skill alone, and that they were all joined in making that master plan come true. Moreover, the one who had made the holy ark itself was unable to feel superior to the one who had only fashioned the courtyard pegs. So it is with us this Shabbos morning. Every single one of you who has walked into our sacred sanctuary has an essential part to play in our Shabbos celebration. Everyone's important in their own right, whether they're here in our sanctuary or joining us on live stream. And so I invite you now to put away all your cares, all your focus on the outside world. Turn off your cell phone, or at least put it on Do Not Disturb, because you do not want to be disturbed by this time together. Cole needs our help to make this a special and sacred moment. We have to give him our full attention as he leads us in worship, teaches us his Torah truths. We all need to join with him and the cantor and singing melodies and tunes, whether we know them exactly or not. We want you to join us in silent seeking and meditation, in blessing and song and spirit. So I'm going to remind everyone to leave your masks on for the safety and goodness of everybody as we try to continue to navigate this COVID world, to put yourself in this Shabbos zone so that we each can do our part to create this sacred space, this sacred Shabbat we share together. We're going to begin our service on page 78 in our Sidurim, our prayer books, praising God for the gift of body and soul. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tohorahi. My God, the soul you have given me is pure. We turn now to page 83 as we set our intentions for this morning we are together and for the week ahead. We read responsively. As I awaken, let this be my thought. May my day be filled with acts of loving kindness. Let me be drawn to learning and discernment, and may my actions be shaped by mitzvot.
Keep me from iniquity, disgrace, and sin. May I not be overwhelmed by temptation or despair.
Distance me from evil people and false friends. Let me cultivate a life of goodness.
May my hands reach out in kindness, and I will serve God through acts of righteousness.
Today and every day, may I merit your mercy by living my life with compassion and love.
Holy One of blessing, draw me to your words. Teach me the art of sacred living.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamelamed chasadim tovim le'amo Yisrael. We turn now to page 106 for the Chatzi Kaddish as we rise and remain standing through the Shema.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. ועמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכוני וימליכוני וחייך בית ישראל. בגלוי וזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי. יתברך וישתבח, יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי לקודשו בריחו. לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעולמה, ויאמרו אמן.
As we turn to page 108 for the Baruch Hu, it's my pleasure to call upon our Bar Mitzvah, Cole Daniel Rosenberg, to lead us in the next portion of our worship service.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. We continue on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvareh choshech, oseh shalom uvareh et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha, rachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reishit, ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, chulam bechokma asita, Mala haaretz kinyanecha, tit barach Adonai Eloheinu, el shivach maaseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita, yafa'arucha sela, or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh cholanu mehera le'aro baruch atah Adonai hotzer ha'me'orot. We continue in the middle of page 113. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said. And light blinded, we saw that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch habocher b'amo Yisrael ve'ahava. We continue on page 114. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevo Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue together on page 116. Ve'avta et Adonai Elecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecham Hayom Alavavecha Veshinantam Levanecha Vedibartam Bam Veshivdecha Bevetecha Uvlechtecha Vaderech Uvshochbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam Leot Al Yadecha Vehayu Letotafot Beinenecha Uchtavtam Amazuzot Betecha Uvisharecha Leman Tiskeru Vasitihem Et Komitotai Vihitem Kedoshim Lelohem Ani Adonai Lechem Asher Hotzti Et Chimehem Meretz Ephraim Lihiot Lachem Lelohim Ani Adonai Lechem Emet. We continue on top of page 121. Emet. There is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your word. Emet. That pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame. Stir the soul's passion. Guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice. We continue with the Amidah on page 124. Please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi ad gitei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, let my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yisachar, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Neve Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekone Hakol, Vezocher Hasdei Avo Imahu, Umefikulan Livnevnehem, L'man shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Izrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayer HaKol Tavra V'Lushia. Morid Hatah, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayer HaKol Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Verafech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishene Afa, Michamocha Bal Kivarot, Umido Melach, Melech Memi, Umechayem. Umat miya Yeshua, v'ne'emana ta'alecha chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemati shimoto b'shmei marom. Kakatuv ayad neviecha, v'kara ze ve'amar. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tsevaot, Melech kol haaretz, kevodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Adir Shimecha b'chol haaretz. Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshiach ve'hu Yashmienu, berachamav le'nei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Zion, ledor vador. Alleluia. Ledor vador agi korecha, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Please turn to page 132 and join in singing Yismechu as we praise God for the gift of Shabbat.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וחורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וחורי עונג שבת. מקדש שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שומרי
במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וחורי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וחורי עונג שבת. שומרי 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 שבת, קוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. We continue in the middle of page 137. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst from excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near in life, in peace, and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha be'yirah na'avod. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise you, your name and truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hato shimcha ulecha na'eh lahadot.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova veracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova veracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova veracha.
We continue together on the middle of page 141. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes, strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of our world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom.
Having prayed for peace in our world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. We think of them and whisper their names aloud now. We join together in the words of Misha Berach. They can be found on page 253. Amen. We take a moment now for our own silent prayers.
Oh, say shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, v'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Seder Kriyat Torah, service for the reading of Torah, page 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah. And let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. As we prepare to open the ark and take out our sacred scrolls, I call upon the generations of Cole's family to join us in front of the ark, to stand with him in the chain of tradition. Along with Cole, I call upon his parents, Michael and Susan Rosenberg, his grandparents, Lee and Betsy Rosenberg, and his grandparents, Bob and Fran Gelb, and to open our ark, his Aunt Lisa and Uncle Jason Gibbs. And I'd ask you all to please rise in honor of the Torah.
In kamocha Elohim Adonai, en kemasecha
Torah tzivalanu Moshe Morashat Kihilat Yaakov. This is the Torah given by God to Moses, the inheritance of the congregation of Israel. Kol, at Mount Sinai, God gave Moses Torah to share with the people of Israel. Moses in his time passed Torah down to Joshua, who passed Torah down to the elders. The elders passed Torah down to the prophets, who shouted out the cries of social justice they found within that text out loud. The prophets passed Torah down to the Anshe Knesset Hagedolah, the men of the Great Assembly, and they passed Torah down to the rabbis. The rabbis spent their lives stepping inside those ancient words, finding modern meaning in their own day to keep those truths alive. And it is that tradition that enables you to stand here today with the generations of your family, having grown up, some of them in this very space, on this very bima, to now stand here with you, overflowing with pride, to pass this Torah down to you. And just as God gave that gift to us, the Jewish people, as a gift of love and pride and expectation, so too do the generations of your family pass Torah down to you with that same wish and hope in their heart, that someday you too will pass Torah down to those who come after you. And so Torah goes, midor lador, from generation to generation.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai. התפארת והנצח וההוד כי כה בשמיים ובארץ כי כה בשמיים ובארץ לך לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך. This week's Torah portion is Ki Tavo. Moses continues his review of the laws and commandments that he started in last week's portion, Ki Tetzeh, and the Israelites are to bring their first fruits as a sacrifice, and they are given detailed instructions for doing so. Moses concludes with a review of the law and instructions for tithing. Cole is going to read from Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 through 19, teaching us of the blessings the Israelites will receive if they follow God's commandments and the curses if they don't. It's my pleasure to invite Cole forward, as well as his grandparents Lee and Betsy Rosenberg for the honor of the first Aliyah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamrach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach L'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. V'haya im Shemoah. Tishma b'kol Adonai Elohecha. Lishmor la'asot et kol mitzvotav asher anochi mitzavcha. Hayom untencha Adonai Elohecha. Elyon al kol goyei aretz uva'u alecha. Kol habrachot ha'el v'hisigucha. Ki tishma b'kol Adonai Elohecha. Baruch atah ba'ir. Ubaruch atah basadech. Baruch peri vitnecha. Ufri ad matcha. Ufri v'hem techa. Shagar alafecha. V'astrot sunecha. Baruch tanacha umishartecha. Baruch atah beboecha. Ubaruch atah betzetecha. Now, if you obey the Eternal your God, to observe faithfully all the divine commandments which I enjoin upon you this day, the Eternal your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. All these blessings shall come upon you and take effect, if you will heed the word of the Eternal your God. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the country. Blessed shall you be in the issue of your womb, the produce of your soil, and the offspring of your cattle, the calving of your herd, and the lambing of your flock. Blessed shall you be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be in your comings, and blessed shall you be in your goings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chai le'olam notam b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. For the honor of the second Aliyah, it's a pleasure to invite Cole's other grandparents, Bob and Fran Geld.
Yes, Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamrach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yiten Adonai et oivecha hakamim alecha nigafim lefanecha v'derech echad yitzu elecha ushiva derachim yanusu lefanecha yitzav Adonai idcha et havracha wasamecha uchol mishlach yadecha uvrachecha ba'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha. Notain lach yakimcha Adonai lo la'am kadosh kasher nishbach. Lach ki tishmor et mitzvot Adonai Elohecha. V'halachta b'derechav v'ra'u kol amei ha'aretz. Ki shem Adonai nikra alecha. V'yar'u mimecha. V'yitircha Adonai latova. Be free, vitnecha. Be free, hemtecha. Be free, ad matcha. Al hadama asher nishba Adonai levotecha. Latet lach. Yiftach Adonai lecha. Et otaro hato et hashemayim. Latet atar artecha. Vayito ulevarech et kol maaseh yadecha. V'hil vita goyim rabim va'ata lo tilveh. The Eternal will put to root before you the enemies who attack you. They will march out against you by a single road, but flee from you by many roads. The Eternal will ordain blessings for you upon your barns and upon all your undertakings. You will bless in the land that the Eternal your God is giving you. The Eternal will establish you as his holy people, as he swore to you, if you keep the commandments of the Eternal your God and walk in his ways. And all the peoples of the earth shall see that the Eternal's name is proclaimed over you, and they shall stand in fear of you. The Eternal will give you abounding prosperity and the issue of your womb, the offspring of your cattle, and the produce of your soil in the land that the Eternal swore to your fathers to assign you. The Eternal will open for you his boundless store, the heavens, to provide rain for your land in season and to bless all your undertakings. You will be creditor to many nations, but debtor to none.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nasa lanu torat emes ha'olam netabat zochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Good job.
For the third Aliyah, it's a pleasure to invite Cole's parents, Michael and Susan.
Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch atah hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai. Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Untancha Adonai l'rosh v'lo l'zanav v'hita rak l'mala v'lo tihiyeh l'mata ki tishma el mitzvot Adonai Elohecha asher anachi mitzavcha hayom lishmor v'lasot v'lo tasor mikol hadvarim asher anachi mitzavet echem hayom yamin usmol l'lechet echarei Elohim echarim l'odam. The Eternal will make you the head, not the tail. You will always be at the top and never at the bottom. If only you obey and faithfully observe the commandments of the Eternal your God that I enjoin upon you this day. And do not deviate to the right or to the left from any of the commandments that I enjoin upon you this day, and turn to the worship of other gods.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai Notain HaTorah. Amen.
The final aliyah we reserve for our bar mitzvah. Ya'amod Tzipor Daniel ben Michael David Besara Habachor Habar Mitzvah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notain HaTorah.
Amen.
V'haya im lo tishma v'kol Adonai Elohecha. V'shmor la'asot et kol mitzvotav v'chakatav asher anochi mitzavcha. Hayom uva'u alecha. Kol hachlalot ha'el v'hizivacha aror atah ba'ir. V'aror atah basadeh. Aror tanacha u'mishartecha. Aror peri v'necha. V'fri ad matcha. Shigar alafecha. V'ashtrot senecha. Aror atah bevoecha. V'aror atah betzetecha. But if you do not obey the eternal your God to observe faithfully all his commandments and laws, which I enjoin upon you this day, all these curses shall come upon you and take effect. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the country. Cursed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed shall be the issue of your womb and the produce of your soil, the calving of your herd and the lambing of your flock. Cursed shall you be in your comings, and cursed shall you be in your goings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notain HaTorah.
Amen.
And it is my pleasure. Michael is going to lift the Torah, but I would love to invite Evan up to dress the Torah. Please rise.
And I'm going to take this off so no one sees that we have that mark.
This Torah shesa Moshe lifnei bnei Israel. Abi Adonai b'yad Moshe. This Torah shesa Moshe lifnei bnei Israel. Abi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. You may be seated.
My Torah portion, Ki Tavo, starts with the Israelites bringing their first fruits to God. Then God told Moses and the elders of Israel that they need to set up large stones and coat them in plaster and inscribe on them all the words of his teaching. The lesson for them to inscribe is about how God plans to bless and curse the Israelites. God states to the people of Israel that if they obey him and his rules, he will bestow blessings upon them. However, if you disobey God and his rules, you will be punished with the opposite of these. Moses states to the people of Israel that God had helped them and performed wondrous feats, and God had helped them reach this land. God says if you observe the covenant's terms, then you will succeed in all that you undertake. In my verses, I read about how God states to the people of Israel that if they obey him and his rules, he will bestow blessings upon them. Then the blessings are listed, with the main ones covering their cattle and agriculture. God also lists that he will bless the Israelites' food, and they will always have some. Also listed is that God will protect you from enemies. Another benefit to obeying God's rules is you will be wealthy. However, if you disobey God and his rules, you will be punished with the opposite of these: no food, lots of enemies, and no money. When reading these verses, I was curious about the idea that the Jews follow all of God's commandments. What happens if they do this, but are not rewarded as they are promised in the text? Rabbi David Hartman, an American Israeli leader and author, says that we should follow God's commandments and do mitzvot not for the rewards, but because it's the right thing to do. God's commandments shouldn't be followed because the Israelites were influenced by God or going to be rewarded, but because they were the right thing to do. I do agree with Rabbi Hartman because I think doing the right thing, even if you won't be rewarded or no one is watching, shows that you care about being kind and respectful. We need more people that do the right thing when nobody's watching, and eventually the world will become a better place. I am currently in Boy Scouts, where we work to do the right thing at all times. Trash pickups or raising money for others are all things that happen in our scout troop. However, there was one event I really remember. In elementary school, in Scouts, we did an event called Boxes of Blessings. We would go and pack meals for the holidays for families in need. We did not get to deliver the boxes or see the families who received them. No one was there thanking us for the work we did. This is the same idea that we should do the right thing even when no one is watching. However, we did get the feeling of doing the right thing and helping others, and that is what matters. This event in my life has taught me to respect others and do the right thing even if there's no reward for doing it. Becoming a bar mitzvah is important to me because it means that I am becoming a Jewish adult and leader. Being a Jewish leader is about doing what is right without expecting a reward. This will allow me to get closer to my Jewish community and play a bigger part within it. I hope to pass on to others the lesson I learned with my Torah portion. Thank you to my friends and family who came to support me, and especially thanks to those who came from out of town. Thank you to Rabbi Nathan for helping me get ready for this day. Thank you to Rabbi Jurgen for helping me prepare this speech and learning about my Torah portion. Thank you to Cantor Berlin for the beautiful service and help with the Haftarah blessings. And I would like to thank Hagi especially for helping me prepare my Hebrew and reminding me that I did not need to memorize everything. Thank you to my grandparents for always being there and wanting to help me out. Thank you to my brother, Evan, for being my best friend. Even though you might complain that I'm not playing with you, I want you to know that I love that you always want to spend time with me. You are the best brother ever. Mom, even though sometimes I snap at you or I get mad that you're making me do homework, it's because you want me to do my very best. I have loved everything we have done together. If it's watching Amazing Race together or going down crazy zip lines in Hawaii. Thank you for everything you've done to help plan my bar mitzvah. You are amazing, and I love you a lot. Dad, you are awesome. Whether it's when you are chasing Reese around the house or messing with me and Evan, I love you for being so fun. You have also supported me in all of the new things I've tried out, like track and Boy Scouts, and especially my bar mitzvah. Mom and Dad, I don't know what I would do without y'all. Shabbat Shalom.
But wait, there's more. Our tradition teaches that the world stands on 3 pillars: Torah, Avodah, Gemilut, Chasadim, study, worship, acts of loving kindness. You read and taught Torah so beautifully, check, right? You led us in worship beautifully, check. And now you get the opportunity to fulfill that last pillar of Gemilut Chasadim, of acts of loving kindness. At Temple Beth-El, we don't read the traditional Haftarah. Instead, we ask our B'nai Mitzvah students to pick one of our temple prophetic quotes, words that are maybe on the stained glass windows in our sanctuary or elsewhere in the building, teachings about social goodness, social justice in the world that are the core values of our congregation since way back when. So Cole will read his Haftarah blessings and then share the quote that he chose and how it relates to his prophetic perspective.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar bin v'im tovim v'ratzah b'divrahem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai halacher b'torah uv'Moshe avdo v'Yisrael amo uvinvi'e ha'emet v'tzedek. Written on the walls of this sanctuary is prophetic text Amos 5:24, which states, "But let justice well up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream." This prophetic text relates to social justice through the idea that everyone deserves the same amount of respect. When it says, "Let justice well up as waters," I think it means that we should have peace and respect everywhere in abundance, like water. When it says to let righteousness be a mighty stream, I understand it to mean doing the right thing should be the most powerful moral force. My bar mitzvah happens to be during the first week of school. My mitzvah project was to collect school supplies for underfunded schools in San Antonio. School has been an important part of my life, as this is where I've learned to read, do math, and made so many new friends. Every month before the beginning of school, my mom would drag me and my brother to Target to buy new school supplies for the year. Getting school supplies would excite us for the start of a new school year. Some kids do not get to do this as they don't have enough money to buy the items they need. As a result, they start school without the proper supplies to help them learn. This might affect their self-esteem and their ability to enjoy school and succeed in their classes. Collecting school supplies and donating them to schools in need can give these kids the tools that they need to help them learn and build confidence. I collected items such as markers, pencils, crayons, and notebooks, amongst other supplies. And I appreciate everyone who sent and brought me supplies. It made me even more excited when I started to contact lower-income schools like Villarreal Elementary, the sister school to my own elementary school, Blattman. They were so excited to accept the new school supplies, as so many students there do not even have a backpack. I met the principal of Villarreal Elementary, who came to accept the school supplies I was donating, and she was so thankful for all the items. We gave them over 300 pencils, 30 spiral notebooks, 10 backpacks, lots of markers, erasers, and scissors, and more. I have more school supplies that I am going to donate to other schools who have also reached out to me. My mitzvah project was an opportunity to show the respect that others have for people in need. Like my prophetic text says, let justice well up as waters. The generosity of my friends and family donating school supplies shows that there are people wanting to help others and do the right thing in abundance. By making the choice to be righteous and help others, you are part of the stream of good people who want to help the community. It was through the kindness of others that we were able to collect enough school supplies to give to these schools in need. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadarot hel hane'eman, ha'omer v'oseh hamdaber u'mekayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al haTorah V'al ha'avodah, v'al hanvi'im, v'al yom ha'shabbat, hazeh. Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu liktusha, v'limnucha lechavod ul tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim, lach umevarchim, otach yitbarach shimcha. Bifi chol chai tamid leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat.
First, Susan and I would like to thank everybody for joining us for Cole's bar mitzvah. Cole, Mom and I are so proud of how hard you worked to become a bar mitzvah. You have mastered the Hebrew language, which is no easy task. You read so beautifully from the Torah. We are also proud of you for wanting to help kids in need for school supplies. Your mitzvah project came at a perfect time as school just started. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of kids that don't have confidence because they don't have school supplies. So you made a lot of kids happy. Cole, you've always been such a focused and passionate person. Ever since you were little, you have been so inquisitive and asked so many questions about all sorts of things. When you take on a challenge, whether it's school or when building a Lego, you always put 100% effort in what you do. You have great compassion for your friends and your family. You love spending time with all of your cousins during family occasions and get-togethers. You enjoy your nights over at your grandparents'. You have made some lifelong friends at school and at Scouts. You always want to make sure everyone is included, and you don't want people to feel badly. Cole, you continue a long tradition for our family in becoming a bar mitzvah here at Temple Beth-El. Both your grandfather and your father were both bar mitzvahed in this same exact spot where we're standing. Even your great-grandfather Malcolm was confirmed here almost over 100 years ago. And your great-grandmother Jane was the Safety advisor for many years here at Temple. Your love for your religion has grown even stronger since you started attending Green Family Camp. Your great-grandmother Jane would have been very proud. Cole, we love you very much, and we couldn't be prouder of you.
Hi, Cole. You know how everyone thinks you look just like Dad? Well, you and I both know that on the inside, you are all me. You are a perfectionist and a procrastinator. I saw shades of me all through your preparation for this day. Your frustration when a practice didn't go perfectly, and me having to remind you constantly to practice. But just like I would have done, you perfected it all on time. This did not come easy for you, so most things do, so I'm especially proud of you today. Your great-grandparents would have been so proud of you. You are the first great-grandson on my side to have a bar mitzvah, so it is fitting that today you are wearing Papa Paul's tallis. He bought that tallis in Israel over 50 years ago. He would have wanted you to wear it, not just today, but on holidays and at services, and as you begin your life as a Jewish adult. It is our wish that you continue the traditions you have learned from both sides of our family and continue to be just and righteous as you explained in your Devar Torah. And when you need help perfecting something or just need a push to get it done, you know I'm more than happy to help you out. Love you.
At this poignant moment of blessing, we make ready to return Torah to the Ark. I'd like to call on Cole's aunts and uncles, Wes and Bethany Gelb and Brian and Jacqueline Gelb, to open our ark as we turn to page 252, 256, and I'd ask you all to please rise. You may be seated. How you feeling? Good. He's feeling good. He's feeling good. Am I right? Was this the fastest bar mitzvah you've ever attended? Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I promise you it's going to go by in a flash. But for the rest of us, you took your time, and you also, in doing that, showed so much of who you are and why this bar mitzvah is so special. Of course, every bar mitzvah is special, but it's also unique in its own way. And it's not only unique, as your dad shared, because of the generations of your family who have stood on this bima for all sorts of important moments in the life of your family, but really because of who you are. Your Torah portion, Ki Tavo, is about blessings and curses, and I love that you honed in on this question of, like, what is the actual reward that one gets for a blessing, and should you only fulfill commandments if you're going to get wealth, right? And what does that wealth, I want to add, mean anyway, right? Of course, in the Parsha, it's all about agriculture, so it's talking about physical wealth, right? But I think you know, and the commentaries you chose show that wealth is not just about physical stuff, but it's the goodness, the wealth, the richness that you feel inside of yourself, right? So you talked about doing something not just because someone's going to notice it and say, great job, but just for the good feeling of doing it, right? And it reminded me of Maimonides. He has, because I always think about Maimonides, great medieval philosopher, but no, in this case, Maimonides has what we call the ladder of tzedakah, and there are all these different levels of giving. And the highest rung of giving is giving anonymously, meaning you give to help somebody else, not so that you will get recognition, right? Not so that they can thank you, but because the wealth, the gift you receive, is in knowing that you fulfilled the commandment, right? And I see this in so much of who you are. You are the kind of person who does the right thing, not only when people are watching, but all the time. And you think about what you're saying and what you're doing in a way that I don't always see in a 13-year-old. Earlier this morning, before we all joined you, we were in the president's room, as we are for every bar and bat mitzvah. We have a special reading that we do. If you've had your bar and bat mitzvah at Temple Beth-El, you know what that reading is all about. And most people, they read it beautifully, but I sensed, and maybe it was just me reading into it, but I sensed that you were actually reading, not just reading the words, but thinking about what they said as you were reading them, what it means to be a Jew in this world, in your own community, and how it helps you be a better person, right? You were yeah, I could tell, because you paused at certain places, and it really it struck me about what a menschy person you really are. So all the people that are here today, they already know that, And it's so exciting and wonderful to have you here, and that we all get to be here even though we're wearing our masks and we're kind of socially distanced, and it's not what we would want, right? But life isn't always what we want, but it's what we make of life that counts. So my hope for you is not only that you never forget this day, but that you see that working hard, even when it's not easy, striving for perfection, but knowing it's not about the perfection that counts, but the effort put in, that you can do and be anything you want to be in this world. I am so proud of you. I know your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and uncles and all of us here are too, and Karen Berlin and Rabbi Jurgen too. We're just so pleased and so proud of you today. So at this moment of blessing, I'm going to invite you to come up to the ark with your mom and dad, Cantor Berlin and Rabbi Jurgen, and we're going to offer you the priestly benediction, Birkat Kohanim, oldest blessing we know. I'd ask you all to rise.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka.
May God deal kindly with you and be gracious unto you.
Yisar Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's radiant presence shine upon you, Cole, and grant you life's choicest blessings of health, wholeness, happiness, lots of love, and peace. Amen.
You may be seated, except for Cole. So Rabbi Nathan stole my line, so I know it was the fastest bar mitzvah for you already, so I'm good with that. But I wanted to highlight that you were able to finish your Mitzvah Quest board. So at Temple Beth-El, we have a program called Mitzvah Quest, which allow our students to experience from when they meet with me about 5-6 months before the date of their bar bat mitzvah, all the way up until that date, to do different things to engage with the community. It has become a little bit hard in COVID times, but you made it happen, and you were able to show the entire congregation how you engaged with your community, with your study, with your family, and with your mitzvah project as we got to this point. And so we have your certificate, which reminds you that not only did today happen, because when you wake up tomorrow, you're like, did it happen? I don't even remember. But you have this, and it's signed by us, so you know that it for sure happened. And you also get these extra stickers to show that you completed that entire Mitzvah Quest board, besides all the pictures and hard work that you did that we have for posterity's sake. We now know that that is on your certificate. We also give you a gift certificate to help get you on a trip to Israel from North American Federation of Temple Youth, NIFTY, and we hope that you will go, I'm guessing, on Garden Green, and so this will help you get to that. And when you complete your confirmation, I know that you will, to add your picture to the chain of tradition of your family on the wall here, that we will match that for you. We also give you here from Yachad, our religious school parents group, a tzedakah box to continue, whether that's supplies for other kids or whatever project that you want to do. We know you will put this tzedakah box to great use. From our sisterhood, we give you this Tanakh, which has your name on it, so it is forever yours, and you will have it, and it'll give you the opportunity to continue your study throughout your life. And from Brotherhood, we give you these candlesticks and Kiddush cup so that you can join in with the traditions of your family for all these holidays with your own set of candlesticks and the Kiddush cup to continue this tradition, as you talked about, that now that you've had a bar mitzvah, you've become a bar mitzvah, that you have the opportunity to become a leader in the Jewish community, and these are the steps, the foundation for that success. So we now continue with the concluding portion of our worship service. Aleinu is on page 283, and I would like to invite Cole's aunt and uncle, Susan and Matthew Feldman, to attend to our ark, and I invite the congregation to rise. Grab your book. Grab your book.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we turn to page 290 for our memorial meditation, we note with sadness the death of Danielle Christine Howard, sister of Desiree Purvis. Meditation number 4, a poem by Walt Whitman. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24 and each moment then. In the faces of men and women I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped to the street, and everyone is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoe'er I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. Thinking about the generations that came before us, whose very presence and dedication and love make this moment possible, we consecrate the yartsites observed in our congregation this week of Jerome Adelman, Bobby Alter, Amos E. Ashworth, Mary Barkin, Reuben Barnett, Minnie Berlin, Nina Batan, Alvin Bright, William Bright, Bill Bullock, James Bird, Jerome M. Donzis, Gladys Glosserman, Harvey Guller, Alexander Gurwitz, Larry Heligman, Rabbi Lawrence I. Jake Jakowski, Irving Kaplan, Marlene Gloria Cardin, Bernard Levy Kaufman, Meyer Kornrich, Alfred L. Laser, Charlene Goldsman Laser, Louis Lauterstein, Eddie Lavis, Frank Levine, Laura Levin, Helen Levitan, Eliza Levy, John Paul Lohm, Anne Lichtenstein, Jane M. Fleming Lynch, Charles C. Madden, Harry Mazel, Carol Meyer Jr., Jane Meyerson, Jeanette F. Mintz, Hyman Phillips, I. L. Pitluck, Martha Michelson Pitluck, Joel H. Pullen, Nell Rice, Abe Rips, Louis Rodas, Zelda C. Schnee, John A. Schur, Charlotte Schifrin Dahl, Abraham Sobel, Miriam Helen Sobel, Bertie Solemson, Michael Stern, Rosalie Tectio, Todd Tectio, Elizabeth Sissy Urataya, Gerald Weaver, Marvin Yaron, and Irving Jurgen. To their memories, we link the names of 5 who in the last 30 days, Shloshim, have been laid to their eternal rest: Lawrence Rosenberg, Ann Callahan Dick, Robert Bob Burns, Sharon Forspan, and Myrna Klein. And to their memories, we link the name of 1 who passed just this past week, his family in a period of Shiva, Jerry Sivan, husband of Mary, father of Eileen and Larry Goldman, Erwin and Pat Sivan, Dana and Jonathan Cohen, grandfather of Robin and Paul Schuler, Amy and David Ramani, Margot Sivan, Trevor Sivan, Jack Cohen and Alexander Cohen, and great-grandfather of 4. At this sacred hour, our bar mitzvah celebrants' family particularly remembers Naomi Alamar, Paul Alamar, Seal Gelb, Sam Gelb, Jan Lauterstein, Malcolm Lauterstein, Belle Rosenberg, Dave Rosenberg, Mark Lauterstein, and Leon Sonny Wolf, Jr. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing, along with the memories of those who are in our own hearts each and every day. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we rise together, turning to page 294, to share in the words of the mourners' Kaddish as one congregation. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayei t'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'yizman karev v'yamru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei d'kudesha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. Our closing song is In Keloheinu on page 322. I would like to call up Evan, along with all of Cole's cousins, Carlin, Grant, and Weston, Noah, Emerson, Parker, Wallace, and Alexander, Ilana, and Maya, to join us in leading Kiddush and Motzi.
In Keloheinu, in Kadoneinu, in Kemokeinu, in Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadoneinu, Michemokeinu, Michemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Emokeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lahemin b'te'avo.
Amen. Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagilavim nismachavo. This is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Shabbat shalom and mazel tov.
Don't worry.
Evan, you're
Pressure.
It was okay. It was okay.
Now you get to get some challah. Okay, that's the whole point of coming up here, right?
Parker. Oh, was that good? Mine's a little sweaty, I'm sorry.
Why is it so sweaty?
Congratulations.
So I was nervous to walk up to it.
Emmy, your dress is so pretty. Let me see in park. How you feeling? You want to eat some challah?
Alexander, you want some olives?
Want some Parker, you want some bread? You want some challah? It's
Okay.
good. It's good bread.
Mine's gone in my mouth.
I'm gonna get some.
Eat some.
Okay, guys, get some challah so we can go into the lunch, okay?
That'll be.
It's like a...
This is like not good. Here, you want some or no? No. Okay.
Don't forget Maui Whale.
Parker held him the whole time. When do I go back down?
Oh no, I know nothing.